p.m. You're staring at the screen, eyes a little glazed, thoughts a little slow. Lunch is settled, the afternoon fog is creeping in, you stretch, you sigh, and then the idea slips in. Quiet, seductive, familiar. Maybe just one more cup of coffee. Not a double shot, just a small cup, a gentle boost. Something to get through the next few hours. You've earned it, you don't even think twice. You brew it, you sip, you feel better, more awake, more focused. And that's that, or so you think. Fast forward to 10:53 p.m. You're in bed. The lights are off. You've done your routine. No screens, no noise, no stress, supposedly. But your mind is still slightly alert. Your body feels tired, but something's off. You're not quite sinking. You're hovering. You turn. You adjust. You yawn, but it's not pulling you down. And maybe, without knowing it, you start blaming yourself. I should have wound down earlier. Maybe I didn't meditate long enough. Maybe I need better blackout curtains. But the truth is, this isn't about your bedtime ritual. This goes back 8 hours, to that harmless cup of coffee. Here's the thing about caffeine. It's not a villain. It's a stimulant. It works by blocking a compound in your brain called adenosine, the chemical that makes you feel sleepy as the day goes on. Adenosine builds up over time. The more it builds, the sleepier you feel. But caffeine comes in and blocks those receptors. It doesn't give you energy, it hides your tiredness. It's like putting noise-canceling headphones over a fire alarm. The alarm is still blaring, you just can't hear it. That's why caffeine makes you feel better, but it doesn't actually restore anything. And the kicker? Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 7 hours. That means that one small cup at 2 p.m., half of it might still be in your system at 9 p.m. A quarter of it might still be working at midnight. And for some people, especially slow metabolizers, it lingers even longer. So that wired but tired feeling you get at night, that's not random. That's chemistry. And it's not just about falling asleep, it's about staying asleep. Even if you manage to doze off, caffeine can disrupt the depth and quality of your rest. It shortens deep sleep stages. It increases nighttime awakenings. It makes your sleep less restorative, so you wake up feeling groggy. And what do groggy people reach for in the morning? More caffeine. And the cycle repeats. You drink caffeine to feel awake, but you're not sleeping well because of the caffeine. So you need more of it. And soon you're no longer drinking coffee for pleasure. You're drinking it just to function. And let's talk about the mental impact. Caffeine not only affects sleep, it amplifies anxiety. It raises cortisol. It increases heart rate. It mimics the symptoms of stress, jitteriness, shallow breathing, nervous energy. For someone already dealing with an overloaded nervous system, caffeine can tip the balance. It doesn't just keep you awake. It keeps you in fight or flight. And even if you don't feel anxious, you might feel restless, uneasy, hypervigilant. You scroll your phone not out of interest, but because your body won't settle. You crave sugar, not because you're hungry, but because your energy is chaotic. You can't fall asleep, not because something's wrong with you, but because your body never got the signal to power down. Caffeine isn't evil, but it's powerful. And when we forget that, when we treat it like water, something harmless and habitual, we give it more control than it deserves. That 1 cup after lunch might not seem like much, but your body remembers, and it speaks through the restless night, through the shallow breath, through the 3 a.m. stare into the ceiling. It's not punishment, it's just physiology. So the next time you think about that afternoon pick-me-up, pause. Not to shame yourself, but to ask honestly, what do I really need right now? Maybe it's movement, maybe it's hydration, maybe it's 10 minutes outside, or maybe it's just rest. Because you're not broken for needing a break. You're human, and humans weren't built to run on caffeine alone. Part 2. Cutting back without crashing. You don't have to quit coffee forever to sleep better, but you do need to be honest about what it's costing you. Because for many people, caffeine isn't just a habit, it's a dependency. It's the thing they reach for when they feel like they can't keep going. And the thought of reducing it can bring up resistance, fear, even panic. How will I function? I'll be useless without it. But here's the good news. Your body isn't broken. It's just out of rhythm. And rhythm can be restored. You don't have to go cold turkey. You don't have to suffer. You just have to start tuning in and making slow, supportive shifts. First, know your timing. If you're going to have caffeine, try to keep it before 10 or 11 a.m. That gives your body time to metabolize it fully before bed. Remember, caffeine lingers. Even if you fall asleep after a 3 p.m. cup, you're likely sleeping lighter, dreaming more chaotically, and waking less refreshed. Your brain needs time to clear it. So think of early caffeine like sunlight. It wakes you up, but you don't need it afternoon. And if you do, that's a sign of something deeper, not a caffeine problem, but a fatigue problem. Second, downshift slowly. If you're used to multiple cups a day, cutting back too fast can make you feel worse. Headaches, fatigue, irritability. So instead of going from 3 cups to 0 overnight, reduce by half a cup every few days. Mix half calf with full calf. Replace 1 cup with herbal tea. Stretch the time between doses. Give your nervous system space to adjust. This isn't about willpower. It's about cooperation. Third, support your energy in other ways. Often we use caffeine to cover for deeper imbalances. Poor sleep, blood sugar dips, dehydration, low iron, unregulated stress. So as you reduce caffeine, support your body more deeply. Start your day with protein and complex carbs. Drink water first thing in the morning. Get sunlight within an hour of waking. Move your body gently, not aggressively. These things build true energy, not borrowed stimulation. Fourth, learn your body's natural rhythm. Some people metabolize caffeine quickly. Others, especially those with certain genetic variants, don't. That means even 1 small cup in the morning can still affect their sleep that night. If you suspect you're sensitive, try a caffeine-free stretch of 7 to 10 days. See what changes. Track your sleep. Track your mood. You might be surprised by how much clearer, calmer, and more rested you feel. Not because you're depriving yourself, but because you're finally living in sync. Fifth, watch for hidden sources. It's not just coffee. Caffeine hides in black tea, green tea, energy drinks, chocolate, sodas, even some supplements and medications. If you're serious about reclaiming your sleep, Scan your day for these quiet triggers. It doesn't mean you can never have them. It just means you get to be aware. And awareness gives you options. And sixth, redefine what energy really means. Most people think being energized means feeling hyper, fast, sharp, productive. But real energy isn't frantic. It's steady. It's grounded. It lets you move through your day without crashing, without craving, without numbing. That kind of energy comes from balance, not buzz. From presence, not pressure. From nourishment, not noise. And when you stop chasing that artificial high, you start discovering something softer, something sustainable. So no, this isn't about demonizing coffee. It's about reclaiming your calm. It's about building energy that doesn't steal your sleep. It's about learning the language of your body, so you don't have to rely on something outside of you just to make it through the day. Because the truth is, you were never meant to live on stimulants. You were built to thrive on rhythm. Part 3. Awake without the rush. There's a kind of alertness that doesn't come from caffeine. It comes from alignment. From meeting your body where it is, not where you wish it would be. From honoring your energy instead of overriding it. And when you start stepping into that space, when you stop chasing the next hit and start building real fuel, something shifts. Your mornings feel less desperate. Your afternoons feel less dull. Your evenings feel less wired. Because you're no longer depending on a substance to create your rhythm. You're becoming your rhythm. And that rhythm, it doesn't require you to be perfect. It just asks you to listen. It says, pause when you're tired, eat when you're hungry, move when you're stiff, breathe when you're tense, sleep when you're sleepy, not when you've earned it, but when it arrives. This is the permission most of us were never given. The permission to rest, to slow down, to not need to perform energy all day. Caffeine, for all its charm, often becomes the mask we wear when we don't feel enough on our own. But what if you are enough? Even when you're soft, even when you're slow, even when you need a nap? The more you live from that truth, the more your body relaxes, the more your nervous system calms, the more your sleep deepens, and ironically, the more naturally alert you become. Because when you're sleeping well, eating well, moving gently, and thinking kindly, you don't need to force focus. It finds you. You don't need to push through. You flow. You don't need the third coffee. You need space. Space to be a human, not a machine. So maybe today, instead of reaching for that afternoon cup out of habit, you check in. You place your hand on your heart and ask, what am I really needing right now? Maybe it's a moment of quiet. Maybe it's a glass of water. Maybe it's 15 minutes outside with no agenda. Maybe it's just a few breaths. That's energy too. That's restoration. And it doesn't come with a crash. It doesn't disrupt your sleep. It doesn't rob your calm. It builds it. And in that space, you begin to remember, you don't have to fight for clarity. You don't have to chase stimulation. You don't have to stay on to be worthy. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to be slow. You are allowed to trust that your body knows how to come back to life, if only you'd let it. Because the kind of awake you really want, It doesn't come in a cup. It comes when you stop running from stillness and start leaning into it. That's where your clarity lives. That's where your sleep begins. That's where you return to yourself. You've been listening to Eat to Sleep, a podcast from the Daily Health Shift. If this episode helped you rethink your relationship with caffeine and energy, share it with a friend who's always on, but never quite rested. Follow the show, leave a kind review, and most of all, give yourself permission to be powered by peace, not pressure. Sleep well, friend.